What's up, everybody? Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018 in 20 Best Podcast News Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we haven't got the final totals yet, but we'll still say reach out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Happy 2026. People who serve, and celebrate it. Ryan Knight, happy 2026 to you.
Yeah, good day, Dr. Vibe. Starting the new year with a good vibe. 2026 is in the building. We'll see how long we'll write 2025 on any of our papers until we can get into the groove of 2026. But good to see you. And as always, a bit of an introduction for myself, one of the co-founders of the Afro Caribbean Business Network. So we support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage the business is in and then help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. And I'm an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to people's houses or their offices, clean their cars on the spot without using water, and our plant-based eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And going into 2026, I know everybody has their New Year's resolutions, their game plans, their business plans. So we are working with other entrepreneurs to figure out what is their game plan for 2026. So I'm curious, what would be a big milestone you'd want to hit in 2026, Dr. Vibe?
Getting another sponsor.
Okay, solid.
Simple. That's easy to the point. Getting another sponsor.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be good. And so people want to apologize for the late start today. The late start. First of all, I'm just gonna say some people didn't come in till late, so I have to change things around. I don't have a producer, so I got to do all this stuff around. And second of all, for some reason, the software wasn't connecting to LinkedIn. Tried to connect to LinkedIn. When I was able to, it says, "Oh, your scheduled time has already passed." So I had to disable LinkedIn. So people can't see it on LinkedIn Live today because of that. But I take a little bit of fault of that because I should have, well, I should have probably set up a little bit earlier. But hey, my bad.
You
My
are
fault.
forgiven for
When I tried to
2026.
connect, it was before 9 o'clock, and it still wouldn't let me. So, what do you do?
Gotcha.
You just do the thing, right?
Absolutely.
And for those also, Roger Dundas says he's going to be joining us momentarily. So he says.
All right, it's all good.
So he says.
Looking
So,
forward to that.
what's the business goal you want to achieve this year?
There's a couple. So for ACBN, we started working on a way to help entrepreneurs hire in their companies. So we do have a target of helping 1,000 business owners hire their next individual. So for 2026, we're pushing towards that. With Detailing Nights, we're pushing to have 10 franchise locations. So we're tested out the first one. We're trying to get that, the momentum going and very stabilized and optimized, I would say. And so this, what was it? March, April's like spring launch, we're looking to have 10 locations within the GTA. So stay tuned for that.
Excellent. And here we go here. Fitness IQ Cam says, Happy New Year to everyone. And one of her goals is not needing mafia. I know what she means by that, by the way. I know what she means. Yeah.
Yes.
And also, what's a personal goal you want to achieve?
Good question. I don't know. I'm always like,
you know what? If you're
intertwined with my business and my personal, but not.
Oh,
yeah, it's interesting.
Well, there's a reason why I mentioned that, because if your personal isn't good, it impacts your professional.
Yeah, definitely. I know. I love to engage with my kids' hobbies. So looking at what they're interested in and then kind of being alongside, I know Jasmine, she's learning to play the guitar. She's big into drawing and animation. Christian, he's big into Minecraft and Roblox. No, not Roblox. Rubik's Cubes. So he's wanting to become a speed cuber. So learning
Hold on, what's a speed cuber?
so I believe you become a speed cuber if you can solve it in under 10 minutes. And
Oh,
then the closer you get to under 10 seconds is like the tiers, right? So under 10 minutes you qualify as a speed cuber. Is what I understand from all the YouTube videos he watches about it. But yeah, it's interesting watching him learn how to solve it. So we'll see how he
okay,
progresses with that.
okay, okay. So I know you love talking business, business, business. So what is your look at the land? What's the business landscape like at the beginning of 2026?
Well, I'm glad that you asked because one thing that we're going to do for the first time is a black business. What do we call it? Yeah, Black Business Confidence Survey. So you always ask
Oh,
me, what is the lay of the land? How are people feeling? Are people progressing? Are they feeling stuck? So we're actually going to do a survey around how Black businesses, how confident they do feel about going into the new year, about their business, what milestones that they have that they want to hit. So that's something I'll definitely want to have some solid statistics around that question because just in conversation, people are optimistic. I mean, every time you're going into a new year, you feel like it's a, re- a reboot, a refresh. You know, you're leaving the ills of 2025 in 2025 and moving forward strong. So far, confidence has been positive. As I'm talking to people, they have new ideas. I always ask like what's your next milestone, and people have revenue goals. So far so good. I feel like you always start on a clean footing. So
speaking
I'll
of which, he has
yeah.
joined the man, the myth, the legend, Roger Dundas in his black, his trademark black T-shirt.
That's it, man. Consistency is key.
Yes.
Good morning and happy New Year to you and the
Happy
Dundas.
New Year.
Happy New
Tried to
Year.
call
Happy New
you.
Year to everybody.
Yeah, I
Yes.
tried to call you yesterday. Went right to voice. I said, not bothering them. Not bothering them. I'll see him tomorrow.
No, you know what? I didn't even, the ringer was off. I saw that I missed a call like later in the night.
That was
Yeah.
me.
That was, yeah, I figured I wouldn't call you at
No, no,
12 p.m., 12
no,
a.m.
no. You can call. I don't know. You got to realize something. People have this thought process. Oh, I didn't feel like I'd call you because
Mhm.
I thought you'd be busy. How do you know? You're making an assumption.
You should be, though. You should be sleeping. That's
Yes.
what
No, well, no,
Carolyn
but
says.
no, no.
Oh,
I am probably sleeping. The thing is, but if you need me, don't be afraid to call me.
okay, okay.
Very
I,
nice.
it's urgent.
That's the
It's
thing
urgent.
Yes.
Oh,
because if
it's
you need, I know
urgency.
you're calling me for a reason, not just to.
Not for the
Well,
season.
especially at that hour of night, you're calling me because you need me. So I'm there for you.
Right.
Crazy. I set up everything last night. The computer, I tested the link on the computer. And then when I woke up this morning, I said, okay, let's go. The computer wouldn't start. It would. I couldn't sign
I
in.
had the same thing this
You
morning. Like
see?
I got up
Yeah.
this morning, I had my favorite mug of water, unscrew the cap, it comes off, the straw goes flying around. I can't find the straw for it.
Oh my.
And it's a clear straw. So
Right.
and then we got a white floor. So trying to
Lord.
find and couldn't find it, but I knew where the backup one was. So I've got my one. I'm just going, but
Yeah,
I have put on my notepad, find straw in kitchen today.
yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
So here's my question before you bring on Wayne.
Mm.
What are you gonna do this year that you didn't do last year
Personally or professionally.
Mm.
professionally? Let's not go personal because otherwise the conversation will go sideways.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Roger, do you want to go first, Ryan? Do you want me?
Well, the thing that comes to mind is I enjoy using LinkedIn. I feel it's one of the best platforms to expand your network and for business. I've tasked myself with posting at least once every single day. So that's something I wanted to do last year, didn't really hit it. So I got my post in yesterday. So we're off to a good start. So I'm hoping to post at least once a day and see how that affects my
So
business.
So here's somebody that I need to unfollow because I don't want to see those posts every day. So
You might be interested. You don't know what it is. Like, it might be something that is intriguing to buy
It-
black for
you know,
Roger Dundas.
that's interesting because
And he might not even see it.
I post regularly on LinkedIn, but it is I post through my shows. I don't do like text posts or things like that. But
Yeah.
I was in a group, a community, I environment group, and there's a lady who's a YouTube expert, and I said, well, I don't put posts on it because, well, do you? I said, but I do broadcasts on LinkedIn. She goes, how often? Well, at least 3 to 4 times a week. She says, Dr. Vibe, right there, especially because it's video broadcast, you're in rare air on LinkedIn because you're doing video podcasts on a regular basis. And she said that is something that a lot of people on YouTube are not taking advantage of, the aspect of video on LinkedIn. Even though I can't broadcast on it today, but
Yes.
because of connection. But and so for me, for Roger, getting getting better oriented on one AI platform. And here's a little backstory. During this, over the last few days, a video came up on my YouTube feed, and this guy said, I'm not going to mention the AI platform, but it's a fairly prominent one, saying, hey, here is how you can get the pro version of this AI search engine for free for 1 year.
Nice, nice. Okay.
And so I said, okay, let me get, and I do got it for free, and it is amazing. And I'm going to go a deep dive on it, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I have,
Okay,
so to
solid.
really go deep dive on this, especially on this one AI platform, to really elevate my footing and presence. So there we go.
Love that.
yeah,
And
and
with you, Dundas, I'm curious what would be a
You see, he calls you
milestone?
Dundas. You must be buddy with him,
oh,
Dundas. Okay.
Dundas,
Dr. Dundas, yes.
Okay, Doctor. We don't call him Dundas because I'm not that good yet.
But what would be a milestone that you'd want to hit for Buy Blacks, and what would be something different you're going to do this year?
for buy blacks, I wasn't even going to talk about buy, but for buy blacks, I think the milestone is to actually grow, obviously grow more revenue. So revenue is always the growth figure, but also engage a little bit more with my customers because I feel like this year has been somewhat of a roller coaster. Last year, sorry, what I'm saying this year. Last year was a roller coaster year in terms of staffing and everything. And now that we've again stabilized what we're doing, then it's easier now to manage the sales process going forward. You know, so we're kicking it off with a BOGO sale for our 2025 clients on Monday. So
Got
that's
you.
how it's going to start. We're starting the year. That's our, we didn't do a Christmas present. We're going to give you a New Year's present. All right.
Got
So that's for people who want to grow their business. And because I do believe if you're not advertising, then you're not growing. If
Yeah.
you're not marketing your business, you're not
you.
growing your business. So, you know, if you think word of mouth and all that is working, well, good luck to you. Um, I'm not seeing it work for most of the people that I know. Word of mouth. I'm not seeing it
Right,
work. I'm
right.
just,
Well,
Yeah.
again, as I said, every
yeah.
month I go through this process on the 28th of the month where I see the list of the businesses that have closed down,
Right, right,
that
right.
have
I think
operated.
and I really like that, Roger. And something pushing on to that too is I think I am already, but becoming more relational with my good clients. And it's something that my one of my major mentors, excuse me, said a long time ago that he is more, and this was 2 years ago before things got really crazy, that be more relational, less transactional.
Yeah, because Wayne will tell you the same thing too. It's easier to maintain an existing client than it is
Yes.
a new client. So
Yep.
why am I going to chase new clients when really the existing clients can sustain the business? They can more than sustain it because they did it
Right.
over and over for years and years and years, right? So it's really just what can you offer them that is different. So that's the thing. I mean, we're looking at more interactive services. So the focus is on that versus quote unquote static services, so to speak. Right.
Okay.
So
So
I know social is the thing, right?
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
You want
that's
social,
social.
Brian? You need to talk to me.
All
All
right.
right. Okay. So before we go to break, Fitness IQ Cam says to Ryan, will the survey be anonymous so they are honest?
Yes.
Okay. And also says, Happy New Year to Roger.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Fitness IQ Cam.
Yes, I'm overdue.
And then she says, will you let us know so we can get it for free too? Unfortunately, it's the offer is passed. So like
Gotcha.
it, so people have to well what it may allow me to do is maybe become a little bit of a knowledge hub. Actually, one of the things I also did was I went in deep into a number of the free Google AI offerings. Family, Google is offering so much stuff for free
For
Right.
the time. For
for
a
the time. Well, that's what I mean. Take advantage of it.
Yeah,
But
Gemini
one of
is
the
free
things,
right now in the Google Business Workspace. So if you have Google Workspace, there
well,
you
even
can
that,
have free
the,
for a while.
and maybe over the next
Oh,
week or
nice.
two, over the next few shows, I'll just highlight something. There's one where you can put in your website and it provides you a marketing plan,
Nice, nice. Yes.
but we'll leave that out. So hold on. Fitness IQ Cam goes KMT. Well, I was trying to call you for the last few days and I know you weren't feeling well. So unfortunately, but I will.
That's just
Well,
my caller.
that's why we're doing this group. And actually, one last thing before we go to break, I will say that we've got names of people who want to be part of this little uh, posse. I'll have to call, but I also have a name for it too. So I'm going on my way to build this
Posse.
little group of
Like
people.
the Wild Wild West.
So we're going to do that. All right. So let's go to break. Back in 30 seconds, we'll do some housekeeping. And Mr. Harris, who's saluting Prince today, will be with us. So we'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Purple Rain.
Watch Primetime Saturdays on Saturdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, where Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key try to make sense of the nonsense in American politics and culture.
Watch Black Canada Talking live on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe and Cesar de Mamusa give their takes and POVs on news stories from a Black Canadian perspective.
Right, we are back on the Morning Vibe with myself, Ryan Knight, and Roger Dundas of BuyBlacks.com. So let's do a little housekeeping, and we're going to bring up the man, Mr. Harris. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Again, thank you. We're clean now, over 2,000 subscribers. But now my next goal is to 2030. So and Ryan, that's another goal for me to at least hit. I'll set the bar, stretch it, 2,500 subscribers by the end of this year.
Solid.
All right. Okay. And like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Another thing too is more collaborations and also a deeper collaboration with Buy Blacks in the fact that I'm going to be reaching out to more of their writers to showcase them on this platform. All right. There we go. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com or click on the link here. Advertise your business product or service. Please email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And then cannot forget our good friend, Dr. Tachi. Good old Dr. Tachi, good young Dr. Tachi, who is based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, runs a great platform called Indie Soup TV, about 25 independent content creators. I am one of them. And 20,000 YouTube subscribers in about 2 years. So check that site out. All right. Anybody else want to say anything before we bring up Mr. Harris? We good?
Yeah, all good.
All right. Fantastic. Well, it may be a new month. It's a new month. It's a new year. But we have the man who is with us. His name is Mr. Wayne Harris. So let's bring Mr. Harris up. Hello, Mr. Harris. How are you? Financial First Fridays.
Yes, yes.
Can't hear you, Wayne. You're on mute.
Happy New Year, boys.
There
How
we
are
go.
you?
Yes. Same to you. Same to you.
New Year.
Emily.
How are you, Mr. Harris?
I'm fabulous. Blessed.
Good.
How are you guys?
Good.
Very good. Good to see you.
How is the holiday season for you?
I did my run to Montreal, and was trying to fight the weather
Yeah.
because we went up there Christmas Eve, and it was clear sailing. We came back on the 27th, clear sailing. The 28th, big snowstorm. Everybody blaze
Ooh.
up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we got out just in time. It's
Nice.
tough. It's tough
Nice.
in Montreal, man. Snow everywhere. Minus 18 without wind chill.
Yuck.
Yeah,
My
Ouch.
goodness.
Ouch.
yeah,
And
Before
by
the wind chill. What?
yeah, yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
Madness, guy.
It's
Madness.
rigid.
So Wayne, I did
Sir,
your cash Christmas.
excuse me.
I did your cash Christmas this year. Oh yeah,
Yay! And
Nice.
how'd that work out for you?
100%.
Yeah, listen. Everybody's just as happy. It's good.
Yeah,
Well done.
I set the thing. I said, "This is it. This is how much for each person. That's it."
Yes, yes.
yeah, we did the same. We did the same thing too. And actually, with my one of my brother-in-laws, he had a bunch of us all together and said only buy they assigned who would give each other presents. Not for everyone get a present, just one person.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
It
Yeah.
was. And by the way, I guess should we rename First Fridays to this? Call look at the Fantastic Four.
Nice. Nice.
I don't know
Only
who
one.
You're gonna lose your monetization, guy. The copyright will catch you.
Exactly. I think the one person who it should be a goal for 2026 to go full bald, like the three of us.
He's getting close to the fade.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
one day the fade is going to fade, baby.
It's not close at all. He's not doing that.
One day the fade is going to fade.
Oh man.
Back of
Oh,
it.
good. Well, let's get right into this. Mr. Harris is on today with the top 10 money mistakes and how to avoid them in 2026. So, Wayne Harris, let's rock.
Sir, yes, sir. It was a tough year for a lot of Canadians in 2025. Trust me, let me tell you, the price of gas, the price of food, the cost of rent and mortgages being renewed. A lot of people in a lot of, I would say, silent desperation. Everybody looked fine from the outside looking in, but when we did an inspection with our clients and asked them how things are really doing, they were, you could see the energy leave their body and their face as they were dealing with crazy, crazy bills in 2025 that had them up against it. And I was, case in point, I was dealing with one client in early December, referral from another client, and they had talked to the banks and they had talked to their robo-advisor and asked the robo-advisor the question, and the robo-advisor came back and said, "Sucks to be you," was basically the answer. And then I went and met them in southern Brampton and went through my analysis. And at the end of the analysis, I said, "So do you have anything from?" So we going through all the different things, TFSA, RSP. We're going through. And the wife said, "I have a retirement account, locked-in retirement account from when I worked for a utility a few years ago. I worked there 17 years." I said, "How much is there?" She goes, "Just north of 6 figures." I said, "You can get access to some of that money." And you should have seen their faces. I probably the best feeling in the world, next to certain other things that I do with my wife. Just kidding. The best feeling in the world is seeing their face light up. And what it was a locked-in retirement account that she had. Depending on whether it's federal or provincial, you have ways to get access to that money under hardship. And you have to submit the proper paperwork. And it can be, for the province of Ontario, up to $35,000 you can get in a calendar year for hardship. And in the case of this couple, it was hardship for their mortgage. They were up against it, and they had no money coming in. He's in real estate. She's a stay-at-home wife. As you know, real estate the last couple of years. So from hero to zero in 18 months. And houses were going to close, but they weren't going to close fast enough for this to be paid. And they got access to that $35,000 minus a 20% withholding tax, which is still $28,000 more than they had before they talked to me. And I said, by the way, you do this now in December, you can do it again in January because you get one a year. So now you have $56,000 in 30 days when you had zero options before you talked to your boy. So I love what I do, and I love knowing about these little secrets to help people get themselves out of jail.
Right. That's accessing their RRSP or
All right, the locked in RSP, locked in retirement, locked
gotcha,
in
gotcha.
LIRA, LIRA. And you're not
Oh,
access to it until you're 55 years or older. But if before 55, there are 5 ways you can get access to that money, and we just used one of the 5, and they got the money on All Year's Night,
oh
which is
man, that's awesome.
ring in the new year. Okay, so
Cool.
just so people know, I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I'm gonna bring some questions to the table that maybe your run of the mill, over the counter financial advisor may not have the wherewithal to understand. And being at my age and stage, I've seen enough of these movies to know the ending, so I can help with those things. Okay? So today, Financial First Fridays, I want to talk about the top 10 financial mistakes people should avoid in 2026. Let's go from number 1, carrying too much high interest debt. Boy, oh boy, those who didn't listen, Roger listened, he did a cash Christmas. But it's those
Mm-hmm.
people who didn't, right around the second or third week of January, that bill is going to come in. And when that bill comes in, the hype of Black Friday and Boxing Day and all that's over, now you have to deal with the bill. So if the interest rate on your card is north of 10%, right, there are some things you can do to focus your energy on bringing down that debt. And one of the things I recommend is you can go one of 2 ways.
Mm-hmm.
Way number 1 is look at the biggest balance you have and attack. All the other ones that are smaller than the biggest balance, you pay the minimum payments on to keep your credit where it is, and you fight against the biggest balance there. I don't like that one because for me, I like wins, right? I like those small wins on a weekly basis. So what I usually attack is I attack the smallest balance, okay? And I go and put minimums on everybody else and the maximum on that. The only time I'm going to change that philosophy is if I have a very high interest rate. So if you're working with some of the cash money places and you're paying 30, 40, 50% interest, we want to get rid of that as
Right,
quickly as
right.
possible because this thing is eating on you like nothing else that you have in your portfolio. So again, I'm attacking the smallest balance. I'm putting minimum payments on everything else, and I'm getting rid of the smallest balance so I can get a win in 1 or 2 months or less, depending on how you approach it. Or I'm attacking the one with the highest interest rate first. You pick your poison, but either way, you're going to win. Okay,
I like that.
I'll pause
Yeah.
after number 1. Any questions or
So
comments on
Wayne,
number
let
1?
me ask, there are some credit card companies, I know one or two of them, that says, hey, transfer all your credit card balances to us. You get a low interest rate for 1 year. What are your thoughts on that?
100% recommended.
Okay.
100% recommended. One of the companies is MBNA.
NA, yes.
I don't
That's why
represent them, but
I didn't want to
they don't
mention because
sponsor
they're
me.
not sponsoring us, but
Yeah, so you know what? Maybe you could reach out to them and show them this
Exactly.
yeah,
flyer.
Let them know.
But they are the ones most known for the balance transfer options. And again, there's a 3% fee to transfer the balance. So if you transfer $1,000, you're going to pay $30, $10,000, 300, and so forth. But that 3% pales in comparison to what you're paying at 19, 21, 24,
right.
or more in interest. So you have to do the math with your
Mm.
friendly neighborhood financial advisor to see if it makes sense. But usually it makes sense. What I find is people um, have run out all other options. People seem to have this idea that we can consolidate our debt. You can consolidate your debt if you have equity in a home
Okay,
that allows you to do so. But for non-homeowners, there is no equity. and trust me, for some homeowners today, there is no equity as well because the thing is going backwards a little bit over the last 12 months. So
Right.
the credit card with the zero balance transfer at 3% or whatever they're going to offer it to you for is usually a very, very good idea if you're going to change your behavior that got you into the hole in the
In the
first
first
place,
place.
Gotcha.
because
Exactly.
this is a tool that people will use. And tomorrow must come, and when 12 months is over, if you haven't done the work to hammer that thing down, you're just going to be on another credit card because the card goes back up to market rates for the
Right.
interest, and now you're back in the same boat just on another card. So you
Mm,
have to really hammer that payment, because the payment is because there's no interest being calculated on the transfer. You need to pay down like your
as
life
much as
depends on
possible.
it for the 12
Yeah.
months, right? Now the good news is they'll allow you to consolidate multiple cards into 10% balance.
Right.
So you have to think about it. So if I'm going to do that, I'm getting rid of my highest interest cards first, but I must have a plan to pay down as much as possible, because I see some people paying minimum payments. They have like $15,000 on the card and they're dropping $150 a month.
Ooh.
They'll never pay that card off.
Right.
And $150 will not help you if you pay only 150 to the new card at zero balance. So we need to figure out what you can pay to get rid of the balance that you're going to transfer. I don't want to transfer so much that I'm not going to win, unless the interest at the end of the 12 months is still going to be lower than the interest I'm paying with the other
Right.
company. So if you're in a payday loan and it's 32.9 but compounded
Oh my gosh.
monthly, not annually, monthly, right? I would say yes, transfer all of it and get rid of that debt, because that debt is the worst debt you can have next to loan sharking, and it's this close to the loan sharking legal limit in Canada, which I think is
Wow.
about 56%. It
Right.
comes real close to that number, right? Imagine you borrow $100, pay back 120 in 30 days, not a
Less,
year,
yeah, it's
less
like
than
two
30 days,
weeks.
2
Yeah.
weeks. So you
Exactly.
compound 20% every 2 weeks, bro. That's some crazy interest. It's
Yes, yes.
240% annual. Okay,
Crazy. So
just doing
Fitness
simple
IQ
math.
Cam says exactly. And also JG Mars, our man from Colorado, says better make sure these are not temporary teaser rates before moving your debt.
Yeah,
Their
because that
teaser rates for
sounds
one
kind of,
year, JJ
yeah.
Mars, 1 year, and it's in
Yeah,
the contract. Okay.
absolutely.
All right, so that's
Mr.
the first one, carrying high interest debt. Number two,
Okay.
treating your TFSA like a savings account.
Oh, okay.
I see people with TFSAs earning 0.5% on their money. I go, why? Well, they go, that's what the bank put me in.
Yeah, yeah.
TFSA can hold NASDAQ. It can hold S&P 500. It can hold some institutions. It can hold crypto, right? I'm not saying to go there, but the TFSA is an investment account. When Stephen Harper brought that to the market in 2009, he wanted to name it the tax-free investment account, but he was in minority government when he did so. So they said, oh, it's only for the rich. It's only for the rich. Can the everyday Canadian have a tax-free investment account? They can't rub two coins together. We don't want to name it that. So he had to renegotiate and change the name from tax-free investment account to tax-free savings account. In the US, your comparable would be the Roth IRA. This is after tax money being put into an account that will never be taxed for everything you put in, and everything that earns in the account, you will never pay tax on it. And there's no trigger, unlike the RRSP, where at 71, difficulties can happen. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So the tax-free savings account doesn't have to be one investment. If you have $1,000, it doesn't have to be invested all into one thing. You can take that $1,000 and divide it up into super aggressive, 25%, 10%,
Hmm.
balanced, 50, 60%, and then cash, 20, 30%. So when you need money, you take from the 30%, that's cash. The other money is balance. Balance is going to run you 5 to 7, 8%. And super aggressive today, whoo-wee, north of 40%, depending on what you put the money into and
Gotcha.
what your risk tolerance is. So I do a risk tolerance analysis, investor questionnaire with every client who's going to invest with me. I say, are you a novice? Do you know a little bit? Do you know a lot? Are you a guru? And they tell me. Say, when do you need the money? Do you need the money in 6 weeks to buy a house? Hey, money market for you. Don't talk to me about any long-term or aggressive investment. You need the money now, right? What do you make? You're making 30 grand, you're making 300 grand, right? I go through all the analysis that answers the questions. At the end, you come up with a score. That score directs me to your risk tolerance. I ask people this: if the price of the whatever you bought went from the 100 grand that you invested with me, and it dropped to 61,000, would you buy more? Would you hold on to it, or would you sell at a loss? It's a big question. And
Right.
you want to see people go, bro, I'm out. I don't want to
Yeah.
lose any more.
Drops
I'm like,
crazy.
oh no. I said the time horizon is 10 years. You're 50 years old. You don't need the money until you're 65. Why are you selling at a loss? And I have
Right.
to go and explain and educate to them, right?
Well,
So go ahead. So TFSA
yeah,
as a savings
The
account,
emotion gets you.
right? So TFSA as
right.
a savings account is not wrong. It is a portion of the TFSA should be there as an emergency fund. And when you work with someone like myself, I'll say, how much emergency fund do you need? Listen, people out there driving beaters, and they're driving beaters because they don't want a car payment. And because they don't want a car payment, they know this car, in 2010, when the car was new, it was a fantastic car. Now that car is 16 years old. You should expect to drop two grand on that car every year, but the car is not worth 2 grand. So now
That's
you got to
right.
do some math,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
Is an $800 monthly payment plus insurance to buy a car that's on the top 10 list of being stolen? People tell me all the time, I want to buy a Toyota RAV4. I said, you will drive it once, maybe twice, right? Oh, I want a Toyota Highlander. Great car. You will drive it once, maybe twice. Do not leave your sunglasses in that car. Do not even leave the shopping bags that you use, the
Yeah,
reusable
yeah,
shopping.
yeah.
Do not even leave those in the car.
Don't even leave
Leave
change
not.
in the change place.
Listen, just leave the keys on the seat and let them come and take it.
That's one of the highest stolen cars.
100. Listen, buddy. Ford F-150, Toyota
I
Highlander, Toyota Rav4,
Land Rover.
Land Rover, Lexus RX 350. Go ahead and buy it if you want. But listen, unless you're going to have a bat cave, right, where you're going to bring this car in, it's going to go underground and seal up and lead and
Yes,
nothing can get
yes.
through, these cars are disappearing. Not to the same degree as last year. I see the numbers have dropped a little bit
They have
because
dropped.
they've broken up some of those rings.
Mm.
But a car that's comparable to that in terms of reliability, and Consumer Report will tell you the truth. Not my opinion, not anyone's opinion. Consumer Report will tell you, here are the top 5 vehicles in the class of vehicle you want that are not those brands, and you can park that thing in your driveway with the engine on. No one's going to take it because that's not what they're looking for.
And that's why I drive a Subaru, bro.
Subaru.
Right? Stealing Subarus.
Let's go.
That's
Which
true.
one do you have, Raj?
Outback.
Outback. Love it. Love it. I remember when they came out in 1990. We were looking at it,
Yeah.
Outback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
good stuff. Opal Inspired, we forgot, says early on, Happy New Year, all. So good to have you here. Also, JJ Mars says, always read the fine print first, always, or have someone who you trust read the fine print so you can understand it. And also, Fitness IQ Camp says TFSA isn't only a savings account. Cha.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a big revelation to people because usually if you're buying it over the counter, because you've heard it enough, now you finally take action and you go to your bank and the person in front of you at the teller says, yeah, you can get a TFSA. And then because you don't understand money and you don't understand how money works, you want to de-risk yourself. So you put it into a savings account that guarantees you 0.5%.
It's crazy.
Now, it's better than nothing, okay? But the rule of 72 says, inspired by Einstein, popularized by Einstein, but not invented by him. The rule of 72 simply says, if you take the number 72 and divide it by the interest rate that you're getting, It will tell you how many years it's going to take for your money to double. 72 divided by 0.5 is 144 years for your money to double. So when I ask them, are you okay with that?
Right.
They go, no. I say, well, if you take a credit card, you have a credit card from the same bank at 21%. 72 divided by 21 is 3 years change. So their money's doubling every 3 years and change. Your money's doubling every 144 years. Are you okay with that?
Right, right.
And the answer is usually no. I said, well, then we need to find something at your level of risk that brings you closer to that credit card rate. So you can at least break even on that. By the way, I'm not even talking about inflation, which is at 2 to 3%. And if you're not getting 2 to 3% on your money, you're not making money. It's costing you money.
It's going backwards.
Yeah, to be in the bank is costing you money. I'll break for questions.
Well, Fitness IQ Cam goes, no, sir. me don't have that many years to wait.
Exactly.
Forever, man.
I mean, it's insane when you do the math, and when you talk to people, and a lot of people are very risk averse, and they're risk averse because there is a mystique to money in Canada by design. Let me ask you a question, Ryan. Between kindergarten, maybe you're special because you're an entrepreneur kind of guy. Between kindergarten and grade 12, how many courses did you take on financial literacy?
There was one because of my accounting course at high school. They talked about it, but beyond that, and I had to elect it. It wasn't even like in the standard course.
Right. Same question to you, Roger.
In
You went to school in Jamaica, by the way. So I want to know what you learned about Canadian literacy, financial literacy in Jamaica.
Zero.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Vibe, you've been here a long time, just like me. How many courses between kindergarten and grade 12?
I did take one course called Consumer Education in grade 9.
I love it. So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
So let me ask you this. If Ryan took one, Vibe took one, Roger took none, and the only way the governments make money is taxation. Okay, the only way they make money, they can call it a fee, they can call it a surcharge, they can call it a levy, but in the end, it's a tax. If the only way they make money is tax, and they teach you nothing about taxes, do you think you pay more taxes or less taxes?
You pay what they say.
That's what I'm saying.
We're just.
The fix is in. Yes. The fix is in. They're like, shh, don't tell them about that. Don't tell them about that. Because if I tell them about that, I'm going to reduce the only way I make money. Right? And then people say, listen, you know what, Wayne, thank you for the information. I love these folks. I'm going to go ask my bank about what you just told me. I said, go and ask them. I said, but when you ask them this. Ask them this. If I have so there's 2 registered accounts, right? Well, 3 now. We have the TFSA. We have the RRSP. We have the first-time homeowner savings account. We have 3 registered accounts, and we have a 4th, the non-registered account. That means if you filled your boots with the RRSP, it's maxed out. You can't add another dollar. TFSA, maxed out. Can't add another dollar. Oh, by the way, you got another $7,000 added to your TFSA this year. So the maximum last year was $102,000. Now it's $109,000 because we have another $7,000 allocated for 2026. Then you have your first-time homeowner savings account at $8,000 a year for 5 years. Then you have a non-registered account. This is your money. You fill your boots with all those other 3, and then you have extra money left over. There are a couple people like that in this country, and they're looking for a non-registered account. So here's a question. Can you name a beneficiary for a non-registered account at a bank?
I have no idea.
I've never done it before, so I don't know.
Yeah,
the answer is no. So that means the money goes to the estate as a beneficiary. Let me ask you a question. Does the estate pay taxes when you die?
Is it 50%?
Yeah, it does. It does. Not 50%. Depends on what your tax bracket is. But everything you have in that estate is deemed as disposed, deemed as sold when you die. So if you have a massive capital gain, because you bought something for $200,000, and now it's worth $1 million, that's $800,000. What's the capital gains tax rate in Canada?
50%?
Tax expert.
50%.
Jeez.
But wait, it's exempt on your primary residence, is what I understand.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. So we have people from cultures who did the real estate game and they have bought multiple homes. They have cottages, they have townhouses, they have condos for their kids, they have all this stuff.
Mm.
And them and their wife are on title, not the children. And they die.
Mhm.
And now the kids have to look at the estate. I won't even get into the part about the estate plan and the will, living will, and power of attorney for another show coming up soon. But let me ask you this. If there's an $800,000 capital gain,
Mhm.
and 50% is yours, because it's only 50% tax, the other 400,000 is taxed at 50%. That's $200,000 the children have to come up with.
Eugh. Yuck.
Now, assuming they didn't work with me and don't have enough life insurance and didn't do all the different things they're supposed to do, who do you know that has readily available 200 grand to settle that estate?
Well, wouldn't they just
Yeah.
dispose of the property?
Excuse me?
Wouldn't they just dispose of the property?
That is correct. After their parents worked their whole lives to live where they're living,
You know what I mean?
right?
What are you gonna do? Go broke, or you can net out and have 600,000?
Right. Or you can have
Or
enough life insurance.
Sorry.
Or you can have enough life insurance to cover those taxes at the
Well,
end.
yeah, sure.
Right. And
Gotcha.
that's another thing that we're going to talk about, right? Not in this show, but we'll talk about the difference between mortgage insurance and life insurance and why you would do one or the other. Okay.
Gotcha.
For another show. So TFSA has a savings account. A portion of it can be for an emergency fund. The rest of it can be invested at your risk tolerance, giving you access to the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, ESG funds or environmentally social governance funds. So you're investing in the right thing. Some people don't want to be investing in defense spending, defense companies or alcohol companies or companies that have pig farms, believe it or not. So gambling, pork, and things that generate interest.
Oh, okay.
It's offside for certain cultures. So they still want to invest. There's things that we can do for them. Okay, not quite Sharia, but close.
It's weird, Wayne, because the tax-free savings account that I have, they're all high growth or medium growth. I've never even considered a money market in my tax-free savings. I've never. Why would I?
Right.
Because I can still cash out at any time. I can just say, okay, I need this money, 5,000, 10,000, whatever, and they'll cash out the money at whatever the market rate is. So I don't even understand what you. It's like I'm not computing why somebody would put their money in a money market account. I don't get it.
Right. So someone's going to put the money in a money market account depending on their time frame. It's what's your risk tolerance, what's your time frame. Time frame short. I want to buy a house in 3 months. I've already put down the down payment. I have my money in my TFSA and my RSP and my first time homeowners. I need that money to be available, and the market
Got it.
can't go backwards when I'm ready to close.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
That's why.
Got it.
Okay, one of the reasons. All right, let's look at
Jump in
number
for a
3.
quick second. JJ Morris says to Fitness IQ Cam, lotteries in America are typically funded by poor people. The ticket sales in poor areas are sky high. Same here in Canada. And Dr. Tachi says, good day all. Hope you are fine, Dr. Tachi.
Yeah.
Back over to you, Wayne Harris.
Good stuff. So number 1 is carrying high interest debt too long. Number 2 is treating the TFSA as a savings account. Number 3 is ignoring the RSP withdrawal plan. So everyone should know that the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, invented in the 60s, basically takes money that you've earned, and depending on how you structure it, will reduce your taxable income in the year that you contribute to the RSP. So if you put $10,000 in RSP and you earn $100,000 a year, you effectively earned $90,000, which could mean you drop a marginal tax bracket in Canada because we have tax brackets that go stair step. It's not 50% on all the money from $1. It's 20% here, 22% here, 25% there, and as you go up in income, it stair steps until it gets to the maximum where I lived, 53.53%.
Gotcha.
which is
Yeesh.
bizarre that I did 100% of the work, but the government took 53.53% of the income for everything that I did in the years that I did my jobs. So now you've contributed to the RSP, you've maxed it out, you've done your job between 18 and you retire in your 50s or 60s. RSP has a trigger called the Registered Retirement Income Fund, which is a RIF at age 71. You can contribute to your RSP until the last day of the year you turn 71. So if you turn 71 January 1st, you got to December 31st in that year to keep putting money into your RSP. Now here's the deal. The RSP has limits that you must pull the money out when it becomes a RIF. I think 5.83 to 5.86% is the minimum. So you got $1 million in there. 58,000 comes out, whether you want it to come out or not.
Right, right.
Now, if you have a full defined benefit pension because you were a doctor, nurse, cop, fireman, government worker of some sort, you have a defined benefit pension, teacher, and you're making $80,000, $90,000 in pension from 55, right? Now, you have TFSA, you have RSPs. As soon as the RSP at 71 comes out and adds $58,000 to your $80,000 in income, you step on your old age security. And they claw that sucker back for every grand above $93,000. And it's unavoidable if you wait to pull on that money. So you need to have a plan from the time you're in your 50s looking to retire. Because once you retire at 50, let's say 55 or whatever, Freedom 55, the company that did that back in the day, your income in the year after you retire could be zero, depending on if you have a defined benefit pension or not.
Mm-hmm.
Now, depending on that number, you may want to have a plan to go all the way up to just before the point where it's going to claw back your OAS, because you're not OAS age yet. You're 55. OAS doesn't start till 65. You got 10 years.
Gotcha.
Right? So I'm not going to step on my OAS. What I'll do, depending on the person, depending on the situation, and remember, this is just general information, is look at ways to start pulling on the RRSP early. Okay? So that it's taxable, but it's taxable at a much lower rate, because unless you're a principal, you're making $140,000 a year. Now you're on pension, you're 80% of that number. Your income's dropped. So I can add back some RSP, and I'm not even back to the level I was. But once I have that RSP in my hand, I can now invest that RSP money. I can put that into my tax-free savings account. I start fattening that up between 55 and 65. Now OAS hits, but guess what? I don't want my OAS at 65. I'm doing okay. I'm going to delay my OAS till 70. I'm going to make over 40% more by delaying another 5 years. So now I keep taking money out of my RSP. I'm draining that thing and delaying as much as possible. Once I hit 70 and I have to take OAS, now that money comes in from the RIF, but that money is a lot less because I've been drawing on it for 16 years. But
the TFSA, does that have a trigger point as well at a certain age?
No trigger on the TFSA.
Gotcha.
Zero. Okay? So these are some of the moves that are available depending on the situation.
But wait, as long as you stay within, like, the current limit is 109,000. So as long as the TFSA doesn't exceed 109,000 in 2026, is basically the game.
Good question. Remember, it's not about how much the TFSA earns, it's how much you put in to the TFSA.
Right.
You have a 109 limit on what you can put in.
Right.
It can earn $1 million, no problem.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but there's still that limit. So yeah, but most people in the scenario that you're painting, most people wouldn't be able to get to the 109 anyway.
Unless they had a spouse.
Yes.
Unless they had a spouse.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's 2 buckets at 109. I've yet to see it.
Yeah.
Or 102, because I'm only 2 days into the new year. But at 2 buckets at 102, I've yet to see it.
Right.
So Fitnet's IQ Cam says true. She also says a lot dislike the RSP RIF withdrawal though.
Yeah, again, it is one of those triggers that most people don't tell you about over the counter when you're buying the RSP in your 20s or 30s because they're using it as a first time home buyers program, up to 60 grand that you can take from the RSP to go put down on the house. So if you have $60,000 in RSP, your spouse has $60,000 RSP, you have 120 to put down. But now you have the first time homeowner savings account. You can put up to $40,000 over 4 years. So you have 40 for her, 40 for you. That's $100,000 each to put down in 5 years. Very, very doable. And all the realtor friends and all the mortgage broker friends that I have that work in my network all love the fact that I'm fattening up those accounts so they can have clients in 3 to 5 years. And by the way, if you move money from your RSP, let's say you have $80,000 in your RSP, the government will only allow you to use 60,000 of that 80,000 for a first-time buyers program. But you don't have a first-time homeowner savings account. You can move 8 grand over from the RSP to the first-time homeowner savings account and pay nothing in tax. And now you're building another bucket. So now you have $68,000 down versus only 60. And the next year, you can move another $8,000 over. So now you got $76,000 ready to go for down payment versus the $60,000 you had before. So again, we're moving buckets and we're moving it without any tax implication.
She also
Make
says
sense?
most people haven't contributed the full amount.
Most people. And then those who are due, God bless them. Hey, I appreciate people who in 2009 have maxed out TFSAs.
All the lotto winners in the poor areas, they've maxed out all of them.
Right.
All the lotto. Roger,
Even
Roger's
them,
coming in,
they have
Roger's coming in off the top
they're
rope.
using that money on something else.
Yeah,
But
listen.
my apologies. I
Yes.
do have to hop, but always good
10
seeing you
o'clock,
before you get to your next point. But good seeing you guys. We'll chat
All
soon.
right.
Monday.
Take care, Ryan. Be well.
You too.
All right. We have transitioned and we've got another phrase. So you know what? What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick 15-second break and then Wayne will come back. We don't know if we're going to get through all of these. I have a feeling we may or may not, but we'll do our absolute best to get through all of them. We'll be back in 15 seconds.
Cool.
You are watching Financial First Fridays with Wayne Harris on the Morning Vibe with Dr. Vibe and Ryan Knight. Stay tuned. It's all about knowledge, empowerment, and starting your month on the right financial foot.
I know Wayne Harris likes that. I saw in the green. He's just like his big smile on his face when I play that thing, you know. So gotta do it right. Gotta do it right.
Whoever created her did a great job.
There you go.
All right. So let's recap. Number 1, carrying high interest debt too long. Number 2, treating the TFSA as a savings account. Number 3, ignoring the RSP withdrawal planning. 4, overexposure to Canadian real estate.
Okay, hold on. We got some more comments and quick questions here. So Finance IQ Cam laughed about Roger's comment about the lottery winners. But JG Mar says, do Canadian employers offer employer match contributions?
Yes, they do.
He's from Colorado. He's asking, no?
Yep. You guys have your 401k down there. We have the RSP up here. And if someone has an RSP that has a match, I will tell them to max out the matching. This is free money that I cannot do for them as a third party, but their employer can do for them. So you're going to get a guaranteed return from the match, plus whatever you do from an investing portion. So the question I usually get is, hey, Wayne, even though you're not running this money, what do you think I should do with these investments? My answer is always the same. Whatever your investment risk tolerance is with me, match that investment risk tolerance on that side, but maybe bump it a little bit because you're getting a guaranteed match. Okay, so you match. If you're balanced with me, you might be balanced with them, but maybe you want to be a little bit growth. Why? Because you're getting free money. So let the money cook, right? If you go balance and balance, I'm fine with that. But if you go balance and growth and you're getting a match, you're winning before you even invest $1.
Love that. And Fitness IQ Cam says, you know them say lottery winners without financial literacy don't put it in them TS.
Well, you know, One of the things I learned over the years is income doesn't exceed self-image for long. So you'll find
Mm,
people who are low identity and have high options. These are professional sports athletes. They have low identity. They come from the hood, low identity. They go out there and they run, jump, do whatever they're going to do, and they're making fantastic money, but they don't know what to do, so they'll burn the money. And most of these people are after 3 years or 5 years of retiring in professional sport, they are
Bro.
broke. And the reason they're broke is because they have no financial literacy, and they are, um, you know, think of someone like Prince. Prince had a I wouldn't say a high identity. Prince believed in Prince, so talented, but Prince had very very low identity as it related to money. So when he made a whole lot of money and he died, he had no will, no estate plan, nothing, just a
mhm.
mess. Aretha Franklin, same thing. Bob
Yep,
Marley, same thing. Chadwick Boseman, same thing. Twitch from So You Think You Can Dance, same thing. These are just some examples of people who don't have any estate plan, have smart people all around them, rich people all around them, but they're going to go to the club and put $1 bills on the stage. They're going to buy a house for their mother, not thinking about the tax implication of their income. And they're living on their gross rather than living on their net. Okay? So if someone makes $1 million sounds good, but depending on where you are in the United States, that could be a 36% tax bracket. That's $360,000 off the top, but you bought your mother $1 million house cash, forgetting that you have to pay taxes and utilities and bills and property taxes and homeowners association. All of those things. No one's telling these people about these things. So when you have people with low identity and they have high income options, they usually blow the cash. They don't want to, they just have to because they're going to go and buy that G Wagon for $300,000. You don't, and they're on a rookie contract. They're on a rookie contract and they buy a G Wagon for themselves and a house for their mother. Think they're doing the right thing. Let people know they've arrived. But they forget about that little T word called taxes, and bad things happen when you don't know what you're doing with the government. Ask Wesley Snipes, right?
mhm.
And a few others who have fallen on the wrong side of the tax man. So we try to show these people what they can do. You come into a lot of money, let me show you how you can never touch the principal and live off the returns of money generationally without ever touching the money. Someone wants $80 million in Canada, that money should be, there should never be a poor person with your last name in your family forever.
True.
80 million? I mean, eight will do it for most people, but 80 million, you should never be broke. But 5 years from now, they probably will be.
Well,
Okay.
before you move on to your next point, Wayne, I just
Mhm.
want people who are watching this live or on replay, think about this. How much would your life change if you made $5,000 a month?
Hmm.
Hold on.
Five,
An extra 5,000 or 5,000?
yeah, an extra $5,000 a month,
Right.
right? I just want just leave that question with people. How much would your because even if people made even if you made I have a feeling that most people who are watching this live in the replay are not making $5,000 a month. Well, I don't know, but if you are, great. If you're not, think about if you made $5,000 a month, how much would your life change? Wayne, continue on.
No, I agree. 5,000, 2,000 is probably enough to change people's
There you go.
outcomes right now. Okay.
All
So
right.
number four is overexposure to Canadian real estate, and Canadian real estate has changed. I mean, Toronto was undefeated for so many years, up until this year. We hadn't gone backwards other than the 2008, 2009 U.S. market reset, and before that Y2K, before that 1990. Toronto real estate has done one thing, and it goes up in value, which is why people were buying 2 and 3 condos, and people who shouldn't be buying houses were buying houses because money was cheap and the prices were not too bad. No longer the case. We had a house sell in our neighborhood. They took a $500,000 haircut on their
Wow.
property. And everybody in my neighborhood, we have a little WhatsApp group for all the neighbors. You want to see how vexed people were, because people are assuming their houses are worth X coming into 2025, only to find out the houses are worth Y, and they're planning to do things, renovations, borrow against it to go buy other properties. It's a very different time for Canadian real estate, and people need to be careful. Again, I have a lot of people that are realtors that I partner with, and they're saying anytime that you can afford to buy, you should buy. Now, you have to live someplace. So if you want to buy a primary residence because you want to live someplace, your job is to not pay more than 3 times your income. You make 100 grand, 300 grand is all you can afford. Guess what? You can't buy a garage in Toronto. Parking spots are 100 grand in Toronto. So how is someone who makes $150,000 a year go out to buy something that's 450 that can handle their entire family of 4? They can't do it. The math isn't mathing for Toronto real estate. It hasn't mathed in a long time because equity blinded people from following the rule. 3 times your income, maybe 4. That's it. Because when we bought our first house, I don't know, Roger, if you're the same, and Vibe, if you're the same, my goal was to have a house that if my wife lost her job, I could carry.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we did it.
The first
So
property
whatever that was, repeat that, please.
The first property I purchased was double my income.
Exactly. Yeah.
Double. That's it.
That's it.
Think about that. Think about that.
Yeah.
For a second. I wouldn't go above the double.
That's crazy. And you did exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right? The only way I would break that is if I had a multi-tenanted unit. So if I had a multi-tenanted unit, I go 3, 4, 5 times because I knew all 3 of us would have to lose our jobs for the mortgage not to get paid. But any 2 units.
Right,
what's that?
That's highly probable right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I see people that I know making $200,000-$300,000 a year who have been untouched by all the volatility in the sub 100K realm, these are usually the people who are getting laid off. But I see some people with big titles on LinkedIn, open to network. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. These guys are getting touched. Now, these are people who own 3,000 square foot homes or 2,000 square foot homes in better neighborhoods. They have cottages and they have property offshore. And they're single breadwinner. And they've been out of work for over 12 months with no signs of things. I don't see any signs, and Dr. Vibe and Roger, please let me know. I don't see any signs of people, this economy with the jobs being let go. I don't see anything changing until we settle this battle with the U.S. and what's going on with all of that and the new NAFTA agreement that's going to be renegotiated this year.
Yep. A very interesting thing happened last week. I thought I had a leak in my water heater, which is brand new. We got it last year. And the guy who came to fix it, he said, now this is with Enercare, the guy who came to fix it, he said, look, and he's a non-melanated guy, by the way. He said, last year, 2024, so this is in 2025, this happened, I was working with a developer installing 3 of these water heaters a day and making bank. He said that 3 was the minimum, right? He said the work slowed down so much. This guy's in his early 30s. He has a wife and a kid. He said he had to take this job just to be able to pay the bills.
Yeah.
All right. That's what. So, I was wondering though, Wayne, kind of going off topic, what has happened to this 100 and something thousand houses that are supposed to be constructed by the government? I'm thinking, where is the money from that? What's happening with that? Because that would really kickstart the economy for the construction folks. And he's not the only one. There's another guy who's a drywaller, and he said the same thing.
Yep, my taping
Non-melanated,
guy, same thing.
I need to keep pointing out as non-melanated people. So I don't want anybody to think it's racism or anything like that.
Mm,
This is just white guys who can't find work.
But that's the thing,
right,
because if it's hitting them, can you imagine how much it's hitting people who look like us?
Correct.
right.
So
Yeah.
back
So
on
if America sneezes, Canada catches a full cold, right?
pneumonia.
And our economy is real estate based, residential real estate based, and that cash cow for taxes and levies and development fees and all the different things that the municipalities benefit from, and the province and the federal government from those perpetual property taxes. There's no reprieve. A person could live in their house for 40 years, pay the mortgage off 20 years ago, and if they miss 5 or 6 more property tax payments, the house is gone, right? So, to your point, Roger, the environmental assessments, the committees, the NIMBYs is an acronym, not in my backyard. NIMBYs say, I don't want this thing built. And we go to city council and we tell our councilor to lean on the mirror and say, don't build this thing here. We don't want it. So there's a lot of wartime bungalows in better parts of the western part of Toronto, going down close to the water, where these 900, 1,000, and 1,200 square foot homes are sitting on 50-foot lots that are 100 feet deep, that pay low property taxes because they've been grandfathered for years. And if I say I'm going to tear down 4 of these bad boys, I could build 20 townhouses on that land at $2,500 per house property tax. And the city says, let's do it because we want the property tax. And the neighbor said, nah, you can't build that here. And we are going to go to court, and we're organized. They're organized, and we're going to do what we can to delay it. You see that marsh over there? There's a duck that comes in there once a year. That duck has been coming with his family for the last however many years. The marsh that you're going to tear down to build that school in that neighborhood, nah, not going to happen. And that duck is going to have that marsh there, and no houses are going to be built. So, and then we green belted our area. This is just talking for those who are coming in from other parts of the world. In Ontario, we have a little thing called the green belt, where we have no development in that area that kind of encircles the Greater Toronto area. Can't build there, right?
I'm curious about though, is it that we don't have enough homes for the residents of Canada, or is it that people have ownership in multiple properties that's preventing families from purchasing their own homes? What is the real? I don't know what the stats are.
Yeah, yes and yes. So before we had the foreign buyers tax, people would buy entire floors as an investor consortium and leave them empty. Why? Because Canada was a stable economy, Toronto was a stable city, and there would be equity in the property, and they were rich enough that they didn't have to have tenants, because they know getting tenants in is easy, getting tenants out is difficult in this province, in this jurisdiction. Yeah. So they can leave them empty. So they charge a vacancy tax, but these people are multimillionaires. They don't care. They charge a foreign buyer's tax. They don't care. They're looking for places to park money around the world to offset the volatility in their local market. And if you have the wherewithal to do that, a 2% levy or a vacancy tax of a couple of $1,000s is almost laughable to them and tax deductible. So they don't care. We have a lack of affordable housing in the GTA, because if you're going to build, and things are as expensive as they are, you're not going to build units that don't pay for themselves unless the government mandates it. If the government mandates it, the government owns it. And if you've noticed, I don't see a whole lot of new public housing being built.
No.
We know the 19 high-risk areas in the GTA are public housing, and every mayor and every city councilor knows. We have a spot where I live in Mississauga. This land is located next to co-op and public housing, And this land has been empty. I've been here, this year will be 20 years. Nothing grows on that but grass. They will not develop it.
Yeah.
Until I found out from my wife yesterday that they finally said they're going to sell it and they're going to build condos. But when? Because the math isn't mathing for condos.
No.
If principal, interest, taxes, and maintenance can't cover what they're going to pay in rent, why would you buy a condo?
Yeah.
And people say, well, the equity. Well, the equity only helps if you can refinance and the properties are going up in value. But when there is no equity or negative equity, principal, interest, taxes, and maintenance run the day. That's the math you have to beat. And if you can't, if 2,200 for a one bedroom and 2,600 for a two bedroom doesn't make that math work at a 4% interest rate, it worked at a 1.6% interest rate 5 years ago.
Wow.
But it doesn't work at a 3.9, 4.1% interest rate today. So why am I building that condo? I'm not going to build it.
A little bit of trivia. When I moved there in 2000 I came in. I shared a 2-bedroom condo, 2-bathroom at Corporate Drive, 88 Corporate Drive in Scarborough. I was paid $600 for my room.
Amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
Amazing. People would kill to get that today.
Not happening.
100%. But it's not happening.
It's not happening.
Not happening. Listen, $600. When I first moved here in 1990, 10 years before you, I was in one room in a basement that had no window. I was paying $400 for that room, but I had the entire basement. I had a kitchen, bathroom, everything. And my roommate was paying I was paying $800 between the two of us.
Okay, question here, comment here. The Wallamala says, yep, people selling homes for a loss instead of the usual appreciation. And question here from Opal Inspired, support her YouTube channel, get it to 1,000K if you haven't subscribed. It says, hi, Wayne, what would be your advice for young people trying to get into the housing market?
100%. Young people are going to need to stop being Lone Rangers and join a posse. So Roger Dundas, he by himself or he and his wife pooled their money together and went and bought a house. Wayne and Angie came together, pooled our money, and went and bought a house. Today, I would tell those young people, with your siblings, with your first cousins, pool the money. And rather than going and buying a one-bedroom condo that's 500 square feet for $400,000, you and your siblings and your first cousins go buy a 4-bedroom house that's under real pressure, because the highest foreclosures on property right now are in Brampton, and the other cities are coming because we have 1.8 million mortgages renewing in 2026, and not everybody's going to make it. So you need to be cash ready to go and get the deal of the century in 2026 on these houses. It is a buyer's market, seller's market for many, many years, balanced for the last couple of years. Now it's a buyer's market. I bought my house in a buyer's market, 2006, right? I bought my first house, 1994, buyer's market. Well, welcome back. What's old is new. It's a buyer's market. I would suggest 3 buckets for cash. RRSP, because the first-time home buyers program is there, up to $60,000. I think any one of those young people could probably come up with $60,000, right? If they've been saving and they've been living at home. My kids one lives at school and one lives here, but he has enough money to have his portion fully covered by the RSP, his down payment. And he has a TFSA. And he probably has that maxed out as well. So he's coming to the table. All he needs to do is find 3 or 4 friends and go get a lawyer and sign a partnership agreement between them and go buy that house joint. Now you're living in a better neighborhood with parking for 4 cars and there's 4 of you. One of you will get the master bedroom and you pay a higher portion because you have a enclosed bathroom with an ensuite, and the rest of you pay your money for your rooms. And you get the finished basement and you rent that out, and you're in business in 2026, not 2029 or 2030.
Well, the
So
other thing
cool.
The other thing to win is to move out of province. So a lot of people don't consider that because they want to be, oh, I want to live in Toronto, I want to live in Montreal, I want to live in Vancouver, I want. No, maybe you want to live in Windsor, right? Where the
Yeah.
real estate is a little cheaper, and if you're working remote, then it's the same job and the same money,
Yep.
right?
Another option is I have a rent to own program where an investor will buy the property and they will say to you, this property today, I bought it for you for $500,000. The sell price to you, I'm going to tell you the sell price today. Sell price in 3 years is $525,000. Okay? Do you want the deal? They'll say, yes, I want the deal. So when you come in to this property, I'm on title. You're living there, but you own it with me. Portion of what you're paying me is rent. And above that is a portion of what you're going to pay that's going towards your down payment for my exit in 3 years. You have to come with 5% down. The property has to be less than $500,000, which means 9 on 10, to your point, Roger, we're doing this outside of Ontario.
There you go.
All right, we're doing it in the Maritimes and we're doing it out west because they can get a whole lot of house for $500,000, which is a minimum requirement of 5% down on a high ratio mortgage. At the end of 3 years, we come to you, and if your credit was trash, but you have the 5%, the investor will still do it. Why? Because I will work with you over the next 3 years to get your credit to where it needs to be so you can get a conventional mortgage from an A lender, which is one of the big 5 banks, so you can exit safely. Otherwise, we'll run the clock one more year to give you a little more time, or we'll put you in a B lender so that you can get out. But the price is guaranteed. So you know you can paint the walls, you can put down carpet, you can change the hardwood floors, you can do what you want, knowing that your exit's coming in 3 years and you know what price you're going to pay. So there's no volatility there. The investor wins because they got 25 grand coming in and they have a tenant that's guaranteed to pay rent every month for 3 years. There's no damage to the property because it's their property. You'd be damaging your own property. So everybody wins. The investor wins. The person who's going to rent to owner wins. The mortgage wins because the investor has the credit. Everybody wins in that situation, and even the builder wins because they get a unit sold. Everybody
Okay.
wins. So I'm doing more of that in 2026.
So Fitness IQ Camp says, yes, joint house. Opal Inspired says, thanks, Wayne. Great plan. The Wallamala says, Alberta cheap. And also they say, Vancouver, not so much. No, Vancouver's
Agreed.
not cheap. Vancouver
Okay.
is
Not at all.
not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Toronto was the most expensive place to buy real estate at one point, 2024, 2025, and it goes back and forth between them and Vancouver. The
Yeah.
difference between Toronto and Vancouver is if you lose your job in Vancouver, getting another job is difficult. If you lose your job in Toronto, you have much more options because 40% of all head offices are in the GTA. Not so much for Vancouver. So depends on what you do. Like I've been to Vancouver. I love Vancouver. I'm not a seafood lover, but if you love seafood, that's a place to be. Go to either coast, you're gonna win. The east coast of Canada, you can do this like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. If you're away from the water, you can find homes for under 500 grand all day in places where people want to live, right? So you can do the rent to own all day. Again, I think that some cultures are much better at the collective economics
Yes.
for home buying. And I think if people were to take Susu Patna meeting, whatever you want to call it, and develop that rather than doing $100 a hand or $200 a hand, make that $10,000 a hand, and the Susu group buy houses where everybody could live. I think if you did that, this is what we're seeing the Americans doing. The African Americans are doing this in states where it makes sense. They're buying land and then they're subdividing the land. Everybody has their house and they're doing it collectively. This whole one man, one house thing is a social concept that has run its course for most people. I think that collectively, again, I don't need to trust you if I have a legal document saying what you're going to do and what I'm going to do. Even if you're the worst person on the planet and I have a legal document that will stand up in the court of law in the province where I want to do business, and we have a partnership agreement that has triggers, as they call shotgun clauses,
Mhm.
that if you don't live up to your end of the deal, I know exactly what I'm buying you out for and you can't stop it.
Yep.
Which the first time I heard of this was when the Raptors were bought and John Beatoff bought the Raptors and Alan Slate was on there and Alan Slate pulled the shotgun clause to remove Beatoff from the ownership of the Raptors and then went and dealt with Tannenbaum and all of that. So the Raptors are now under new ownership. And Beatoff, who Indiana University, Hoosier, the big story for the Raptors in '95, and he was gone because they had a shotgun clause. So every agreement that you have, first of all, you need to have one. B, you need to have something that says, hey, we're all in this for 5 years. If you need to get out before 5 years, we're not giving you this price, the appraised price, we're giving you the tax assessed price. Right?
Mhm.
You want to get out before 5 years, you're going to take a hit. And by the way, you pay for the lawyer and you pay for the title change because we want to stay. So if you want to get out, you can get out. We're going to give you your piece, your 25%, 10%, whatever your piece was, but you're going to pay for the cost if it's before
Yep.
5 years. At 5 years, when the 5 years is up, we're going to reset new equity number, new contract, who wants to stay, who wants to go, because now that's a trigger that we can all live with. Ask me how I know because I've done it.
Mr. Harris, you haven't got through your 10 yet. How are we going to do this? Do you want to?
I'm gonna say them. I'm
Okay.
gonna say them, and then I'll let you guys go. So we already discussed number 5, poor CPP and OAS timing decisions. We talked about that. Insurance. We talked about that. No protection planning and insurance gaps. People are looking to say, listen, I have enough money to bury. And burying is great. But burying doesn't cover final taxes and all the final arrangements. Some people say, I don't want to be buried in Canada. I want to be buried in Jamaica. You know how much it costs to send a body from Canada to Jamaica? Right.
In
Some
there.
people say, some people say, you know what, I want to, not only do they want to be buried back home, but they have property in both countries. And they have no will and power of attorney up here, and they have no will and power of attorney down there. And it just, like, I can say for a fact, and Roger, let me know, but there are people who have homes that were owned by people that are no longer here, and this is in Jamaica, and because it was Granny's home and Granny had title, maybe she did, maybe she didn't, she just lived there and we knew it was her house. No one has the paperwork, and now we are looking for the
You don't even have
insurance,
to
and
ask
there is
Roger
none.
about that. I know about that situation through relatives, and it's ugly. I don't even want to get it. We'll talk about it offline. I think I may have mentioned it's disaster. It's a disaster.
What gets me is this funeral thing, because we had a death in the family recently as well. And the thing is that, I understand it's a very emotional time. And I think the people who are in the business of funerals, they prey on people's emotions to get them to spend money. And that's why I've become very unemotional. I'm not about the big service. I'm not about the spending money after that. The funeral is for the living. The funeral is for the living. It's not for the dead. The dead are already gone. Right? You are trying to show people that you really love this person, all of that, blah, 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 blah. I don't need to spend thousands of dollars to do that. Of the money that's left back.
100%.
Unless that person put that in their will to do it, it's not happening. And my will explicitly says, spend the least amount of money. My will for my death says that. So if you want to go and spend more than that, you can do that. But I that's not what I wanted. I want you to have the money and enjoy your life.
Yeah. People, listen, I wish more people were like you, Roger. What you're saying makes absolute sense. And what I would say is this: if you want, first of all, having a will is great. 2, having instructions in the will is great. 3, have the money in insurance to cover what you ask for.
Yes, already
How
done.
about that?
It's through your team. Remember, it's through your team.
Yes, yes, yes. All
Our
right.
family.
So these are the things that we're doing that adults should do, right? Um, number six, number seven, letting cash sit idle too long. So this is the 0.5% money sitting in your checking account, money sitting in savings account, earning nothing, right? Because you don't know what to do with it. You have an inheritance, you have $100,000, $200,000, you've received the money, and you're too scared to make a move. You don't know what you're doing, and you don't want to show vulnerability that you don't know. So you just leave the money in the checking account, and the bank says, "Hey, I'll put it in a GIC for you. I'll give you 2%," and you're like, "Yeah, GIC safe." You lock your money up for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I've seen. I'm like, oh, this thing doesn't come due to 2028. The woman's in her 80s. I'm like, nothing I can do for you. The
But
penalty will wipe out all the gains.
but doesn't that come back to budgeting and planning? Because I mean, if you have a budget or a plan, then
Mm.
you would know where you need money, or your cash flow and all of that. So it's kind of like if you're not doing that budgeting planning exercise every year, cash flow needs, etc., then you make mistakes like that.
Yeah. And again, they do that because they're taking advice from a teller who may
Ouch.
or may not be
Say
someone
less.
who's a financially trained person, and their job is to get money and assets into the bank, and they're getting check boxes for their performance based on what
Mhm.
they sell over the counter. So
Yep.
even though that teller is not going to create the GIC application, they're going to refer you over to a personal banker. That transaction of moving you from the counter to the personal banker counts to help them keep their job. So their job is to keep the money within the walled garden of that bank, which is
Mhm.
not the best option for most people.
Yeah.
Okay. Number eight, not coordinating corporate and personal planning. Buddy, I see people, how much money do you want out of your business? I need this and that amount of money out of my business. And there's cash sitting in the corporation. Tens of thousands of dollars sitting in the corporation, dead, not invested in anything, making $0. Worse than the only thing different between putting it in a mattress and leaving it in a corporate account with no interest is the mattress is at least warm for the cash. That's about it. There's zero difference. So we can weaponize that money sitting in retained earnings. And there is a way to do it, to structure it. I work with the accountants, and man, we make it happen. Your net income is exactly the same, but your corporate money is cooking, not just sitting there waiting for you to buy a piece of equipment. If you need to buy a piece of equipment, go buy it. But if you're not going to buy a piece of equipment, you're not reinvesting in the business, what's that money just doing there, doing nothing? Plus, um, if you don't have your corporate estate plan set up, where's that money going if something happens to you? Now, if you want to sell the company, where's that money going? How much tax you pay because you didn't know what to do with that money? So we'll talk about that. Number nine, estate planning that is outdated or incomplete. And I'll say incomplete more than outdated. I'd love to see something outdated, right? But I know people who have 3 kids that have a will done and only the first child is on there. And the baby is now 32. Right? So you did the will 36 years ago. Good for you for doing it. You had one child at a time. She's on, but the other 2 siblings that came behind her are not on. And she's the executor of the will. And if you and her are not on good terms, and you happen to be sibling number 2 or number 3, you have no recourse. She takes it all. Right? So let's look at those documents. Hey, do me a favor. Go today and go find your life insurance policies and make sure the beneficiary of those policies is who you want it to be. Because some of you are not married. And some of you were married. And some of you have kids from multiple people. And none of that information is on your insurance. And your ex, because you never got married or you got married and you never got divorced, and the woman you're living with now for 10 years is taking care of you. She's your caregiver. But because none of your documents are up to date, the last woman who did you dirty, and it could be the last man, just to make sure I don't get any blowback,
True.
they're going to receive every penny because they're the named beneficiary. Check your beneficiaries. All right, last, emotional investing and market timing. Wayne, market's going to go down. I'm putting everything in bonds. Wayne, Take my money out of the Magnificent Seven and put it into Europe and Africa and anywhere else other than the U.S. because the U.S. is done because of the BRICS or what you read on social media. Listen, everyone on the planet has U.S. currency in reserve. Why? Because it's the reserve currency of how oil is traded today. That may change. It's trying to change. But they still have to get rid of all that U.S. currency. Conservatively, it's 20 years to get rid of that money. That's how much they have. Billions and billions of dollars in U.S. currency all over the world. So in order for them to get rid of that, to start doing whatever they're doing, they're not going to burn it. It's worth something. They're going to have to spend it. It's going to take them 20 years to do that. So yes, the reserve currency for oil could change from the U.S. dollar to whatever the BRICS is doing. But the BRICS all own U.S. treasuries. And those treasuries will take about 20 years for it to be dried up. So NVIDIA, Facebook, Meta, Google, Alphabet, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, not going anywhere anytime soon. And I know China has some technology that is crazy good, but it comes with a caveat that it was made by China. And some people are okay with that, and some people are not. So you govern yourself accordingly. But the USA drives 50% of the world's capital markets, and that's not changing anytime soon. Finito.
Right. We got some comments here. Heather Harris, someone we may know, use money wisely while alive. The Walamala says funeral is one of the only industries that will never go out of business, no matter what era. Shulitz, CISSP, hands up, hands up. Heather says, one teller told me to sell my bank benefits. He didn't even look at me while he was, quote, talking, unquote, to me.
Ouch.
The Walamala says, got to keep money warm and cozy in the mattress. Heather says, people remind people that an estate plan is required when you are single.
Yeah.
100%.
And also,
no one's coming to save you.
Trying to move our investments, it's often too late. And also, JJ Mar says, investing in China, buyer beware. I learned the hard way. Obviously, there's a story behind that one. All right, I got some. How much time do you have, Wayne? Because I got some various conversation pieces for you, depending how much time you have.
Let's go to 10:45. Go.
Okay. Oh man, one question on the. Okay. Here we go. For Black families specifically, what is one money mistake you see over and over again that quietly kills wealth, and what is the first step to fixing it in 2026?
Not having an estate plan. Period. Full stop. And an estate plan includes life insurance. They don't have it. They don't have it. They don't have it. They don't have it. And they need it. And they're getting it at stages in their life that they already have pre-existing conditions. We're known for a couple of things. Yes, we're very good at sports. We're known as the architects of civilization, for those who know their history. But a couple of things we're known for, diabetes, high blood pressure, sickle cell, cancer, heart disease, heart attacks and strokes. Yeah, we're known for those things too. So the youngest you can insure a human being is 15 days old, and you should have insurance on every human being that's older than 15 days old to lessen the burden of the cost and also guarantee a payout of non-taxed funds to settle whatever the estate's going to be the way you want it settled. As the UFC says, don't leave it up to the judges. You build those 3 documents. A will, again, for every jurisdiction you have an asset. So you have assets in Ontario, you need an Ontario will. You have assets in Jamaica, you need a Jamaican will. And then you need a power of attorney for your property and your banking, and you need a power of attorney for your health. Pull the plug, don't pull the plug. Give me medicine, don't give me medicine. Give me clinical trials, don't give me clinical trials. Bury me or cremate me, or make me into a tree or whatever you want done. But you need to have instructions.
All right.
Thanks. Go ahead.
I'll fit in this one last one. Social media is full of get rich advice and side hustle talk. What's the most dangerous money message you see online right now, and how can viewers tell the difference between solid education and hype?
Wow, great question. I can tell you that if you are in the United States, in a particular state, whomever you work with should be licensed to have these discussions in that particular jurisdiction. So I can speak to people in BC, Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick. Someone from Nova Scotia calls me and asks me my opinion on something, I will have to get them in front of someone who's licensed in Nova Scotia. So I had to talk about where I can talk. And anybody who's on social media who has no license and has no minimum bar of knowledge in this field might not be someone you want to take information from. Because I know there's a lot of auto mechanics on social media, but my auto mechanic knows my car.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to him and he takes care of business. Now there's guys on social media who drive my car and tell me about different modifications I could do to get more horsepower or whatever. I will take that to my mechanic and he will tell me what to do. So take advice from people who are in life where you want to be, but validate they're actually talking about their life, not theory. Okay?
Okay. Heather Harris says her answer is lack of financial education. Shula CIO, yes, Mark Lewis is in the house. Got to acknowledge that as always. JG Mars says international investing risky. And also Mark says if you don't put a plan together with a professional like Wayne, the government takes more than its fair share.
Thank you for that, Mark. Yeah, 100%. Listen, all I'm saying is I don't know all the answers. But if you ask me a question and I don't have the answer, I have a bag of resources available to me to get that answer to you. So I don't have to be the answer man. Just give me the questions and I'll get back to you within 24 hours and let you know what the deal really is as it relates to you personally, not in general. Okay?
Excellent. And I'm going to leave the viewers with one question that I'm going to leave everyone else, let them think about an answer. Here's the question. Would you rather be debt-free with bad credit or have $70,000 in debt with bad credit? I'll let you guys ponder on that. Maybe you want to contact Wayne and answer that. Maybe talk to him about that question.
That's a rhetorical question.
Yeah, the question makes the answer obvious.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
right.
I think the question
that'll be an interesting question.
Yeah, I think
anybody would want to be debt free. I mean, debt free is just the place to be.
100%. Right. Live your best cash life.
Want to get a hold of them? There is the website. There is the email. There is the Instagram. I've put in the comment section on all the platforms and you're watching the replay on. Wayne, as always, thank you again for making things happen today.
You're welcome, Doctor. Happy New Year to you and your family. Happy New Year to you, Roger, and yours. I look forward to working with you, gents, and seeing you in person this year. It's going to be a great year. I feel it in my bones.
100%.
You're the horse.
Yes, all right. So as we close out, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Again, if you haven't subscribed, why haven't you? Just wondering, because many people watch, but they don't subscribe. Why don't you subscribe? Also follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Join our Discord group, email me, or hit the link you see there. Advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm on. Email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Cannot not mention buyblacks.com. There's the website, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also YouTube. And if you're going to get a hold of Mr. Knight, Ryan Oneil Knight, it's Ryan Oneil Knight with a KN, not an N.com. And if you want to find out more about me, taplink.cc/The Dr. Vibe Show. And you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, if the LinkedIn behaves itself, and Afro Caribbean Business Network and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. And as always, we like to say, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger, block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher and wider, love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, maybe you want to talk with Wayne, make history, and try to do both. And as always, make it better. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good. And again, let's make it happen in 2026. Take care, everyone.
Let's go.
This whole thing of using your business with plant-based products, don't you think your life should reflect that too?
Juke him, Carolyn. Juke him. The family loves us here because they're saying Fitness IQ Can says put a wig on to get in.
God.
Oh my God. Like the ideas are just coming fast and furious here this morning. What? Okay, look at this. Global Women Ambassador. Good morning. Look forward. Okay.